Welcome back to part 2 of my podcast with Ethereal UK. In this part, we should be talking more about making music and performing music live.
We started off when I was in the first band. We used to record in this little hovel of a studio underneath this nightclub. It was a really weird setup, but it was good fun. And like the studio was in the basement, and if you needed the loo, you had to walk right through the nightclub to go to the loo.
So
And
what time of day would you be recording then?
we used to record in the daytime when the nightclub was closed. But it was like a 5-minute trek from the basement through all the nightclub to the toilet. But it was a bit eerie, even in the daytime, because, it wasn't that lit. It was a nightclub, and you'd have to traipse through the whole building. And then we did get a gig out of it in the nightclub. But it was a really friendly crowd, actually. It was sort of, it was in the Doncaster area. And yeah, it was really, really interesting, but strange, recording in this basement. Like, I've probably got better bits of, old equipment on the shelves in the garage that I've not used for years than they had in that studio at the time. But it was somewhere to start. It was, good memories. And then that gig led on to other gigs, and then we ended up doing a festival.
Yeah, which festivals did you do?
We did Cusworth Hall Festival in Doncaster.
Oh, okay.
And there's a big green, and then there's this big Cusworth Hall like manor house type thing, and then there was 2 stages, big main stage, and then a smaller, more quaint stage as well. It was good. A red hot day in August, and I was a bit sunstrokey, but it was good fun.
Yeah.
And I found the bigger, I've always found, I don't know about you, but the bigger the audience, the less nervous I seem to feel.
Yes, I am exactly like that as well.
Because I think, I don't know, once you see people enjoying themselves with a big audience, I don't know. I always look to see people are enjoying themselves. Once you can see they are, it just relaxes me. Once I get the first couple of, maybe get the first verse over, then I relax into it. And then once I get the first song over, I'm just, fine. But yeah, the bigger the audience, the more relaxed I feel. I think if it's a smaller audience, you maybe feel you're being judged more, or I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I think they stopped doing the festivals probably, I think it's about 10 years ago. They've been campaigning to try and get them to start up again.
I'm sure they will.
Because it was the only one in the South Yorkshire area, I think. But it was good. There was thousands of people there, and it was a really good experience. I enjoyed it. But I'd left the band, and I went back to do the festival, and they wanted me to go back full time, but I didn't. I wanted to try sort of solo projects and do things on my own, really.
Were you ever signed or anything, or like?
No, not as a band. I did sign to an online studio in the early 2000s, and it came with a CD deal. Yeah, I recorded the whole album there, and I worked with a musician. He helped bring all my songs to life. We literally just sat there. I went with my book of lyrics, and I was like, right, I've got an idea for this one. And I used to just sing him a bit of a tune with the lyrics I had, and then he'd get the guitar and he'd start strumming along, and I go, yeah, that sounds really good. And then before, within a few hours, we'd have a song. And we wrote an album from, I think it was July, and we was just finishing it by, burning the CDs in December. And I remember having it for Christmas. So it was pretty good going. It wasn't even early July. I think it was like late July. And by December, the album was finished. But
when you said When you
So,
said you had a CD deal, that reminds me of when my debut album came out in 2018, and then I was on Twitter, and I came across a label called XYYX Records based in New York City, and I thought I'd get in touch with them, and we're still friends now, and I was signed to them as a distribution deal
oh,
for a year, and yeah, I'm just sorting out something now for when the new album Spectral comes out. So yeah,
that's good.
good time ahead.
Yeah, it was looking back at it, I thought it was one of the, I enjoyed it so much just working. It was like my first, I'd done stuff before. I'd done some tracks with other people and done sort of an album with the band. But it was like my
Mm,
first proper solo project, this sort of
yeah.
CD deal that I got. We did like a radio show, but it was like podcasting back then in the 2000s, early 2000s. I did this podcast that wasn't. Oh, it was ahead of its time.
Oh,
What this guy had set up, this company that he'd set up, but yeah, some great memories, and it was sort of a folk slash guitar pop, but it was very folk influenced. A friend of mine, she
mm,
did backing vocals, sort of a bit Enya style on a couple of tracks, and yeah,
I'd
I
love
thought
to.
it was amazing stuff, you know.
Yeah.
But like I've worked from, like I've been in the grunge band to doing some guitar tracks, quite rocky guitar tracks, to some like a folky pop album, and then
Mm,
I did like an 80s themed album in 2020, and then I
yeah.
did like 90s sort of poppy album in 2023. And
I
last
can
year,
kind of I
sorry.
can kind of relate to you, Richard, because when I did my debut album, it was I really wanted like a band sound, but it turned out to be like sort of ambient, dreamy, poppy folk. And
Mm,
then after that, like I went on to doing more like ambient electronic stuff and
yeah.
dancey stuff. And then with this one now, with Spectral, that's more like going into the more like cinematic spiritual stuff, but having a bit of dancey, a bit more ethnic, even going into the African vibes, and I've been combining Thai instruments with songs as well. So do you ever do that? Do you ever like combine wild instruments or anything with your own work?
Um, in the past, I've done bits and bobs. Yeah, I think a lot of my albums, and they seem to turn out quite eclectic. Do you know what I mean?
Hmm.
So, your long-term goal with music, what are you aiming towards?
Well, my long-term goal, um, so for example, with Spectral, because that's on my mind a lot at the moment. Um, I'm trying to get the rest of so the recording is done, okay, and I'm just intending to get funds to get the digipack CDs.
Hmm.
Uh, um, done, and then try and get maybe like a crowdfunding thing to so I can go on tour. But I don't know how much I should be funding for a
Hmm.
tour. You know? But the thing is like because I can't really afford that much. I thought I'd do this instead by like doing the busking thing and saving up money to go and see at least my followers, diehard followers and family from TikTok,
Yeah,
and go and play some tunes from the album for them, and and document it. I think that
yeah,
would be great.
good idea.
And yeah, we can meet up as well if you want.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, and that's pretty much it. But I've always wanted to focus on my higher purpose, which is as a spiritual teacher and a spiritual healer,
mhm,
and I'm happy to do that through my music for the time being.
mhm. I've thought about, um, like I said, I've said before, but it's not so much about the performing for me anymore. It's more about the writing. I just enjoy the creative part. But I've thought about they do like music nights at some not too far away sort of venues, about half an hour away. There's a place in Lincoln, and they are really great for live music and sort of open mic nights and jam nights. And I keep saying to myself, I will go and I'll turn up and I'll have a go. It looks such a friendly crowd where I think I would, slip into it quite easily. But I think that's probably what I'll do once the weather warms up and it's not so much of a traipse driving out. Do you know what I mean?
Okay, imagine this scenario, Richard. Yeah, you
Hmm.
you go in, you go into a shopping um, shopping arcade, and you see a piano there, which they seem to have um, in many places. Would you go up to the piano and play it, or would you feel like, oh, I want to go up to the piano and actually like have people surrounding me and I want to be discovered and because you might think like that, you're like, no, I'm not going to go on that piano at all.
Well, I don't know. I think it would depend on my mood on the day.
Yeah.
uh, I think I would. Well, I don't play piano that well anyway. But if somebody else was playing the piano and it was a song I could sing, and I would probably, yeah, I'd probably get up and join in. Do you know what I mean?
No.
Yeah. If it
Yeah.
was a vibe. I know I've
I
seen.
mean, whatever happened to those days where like we could just do it for fun and not
I
take it
know.
so seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I think when I was younger, I would have more drive to just try anything. The amount of
Mm.
auditions and talent shows and places I was traipsing all over the country for auditions and talent shows. And it was good fun. And you met lots of interesting people and learned lots. And it was good experience. But I don't know. It's just like for me now, the energy to do that isn't there, or the drive isn't as much. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Where I look up to people like you, you know, who are still doing it and are still, still positively just actively doing it.
Now, can you remind me what your age is?
40, just turned 47.
You see, I'm 44, so I can kind of see what you mean.
Yeah.
Well, like we're still young at heart in a way,
Yeah.
and
We,
still got
we think, who was it? Tina Turner? She didn't really start out on her own till she was in her 40s, did she?
I had no idea.
Yeah. Another one, I think she was like 40-ish when she started out on her own after Sunny. So
Mm.
there's quite a few artists that don't start till the sort of, 30s, 40s.
Mm.
I don't know. I might write a song that gets enough attention to get me noticed and think, wow, I'm going to do this now towards.
Well, let's get
That'd be
back to
great.
what I said about expectations. Don't have any expectations, you'll be fine.
Yeah. Do you know, I don't. I just like I've sent these songs to the radios just recently, and I do live. I'm in the process of doing some videos this year. I've got a lot of songs on my YouTube and stuff, but I haven't got many music videos. So
Okay.
I'm aiming to make some music videos this year. Just simple videos. I've got like some apps on the phone and stuff, and you literally just shoot the video a few different times, a few different locations, and I'm looking forward to doing stuff like that.
Yeah. I can give you some pointers with that. I use the InShot app on my iPhone.
Yeah,
I think
I
quite
really
nice.
like one of your videos, the Mad World.
Yeah.
Yeah, the effects on that are fantastic. I think I mentioned to you before about that.
Yeah. That wasn't really effects. It was just overlaying.
Oh, right, overlaying.
Yeah. Yeah. So you're playing with the opacity option on there, and that's it, really.
Well, I've got one video
Of-
that a friend's going to help me film. She's an artist, as in art paint artist, and she's got loads of creative ideas for it. I've given her like the main sort of idea I've got, and then she's like, "Oh, we can do this, we can do this, we can do this," and we're going to film it near the coast, near the seaside, and yeah, she's coming up with ideas for it all the time. So we're going to hopefully do that in March, April time.
Yeah, don't forget to have fun doing it.
Yeah, I like the creative process and then having a finished project, a finished, something at the end to look at, something to listen to or to watch. I did a music video a couple of years ago, and it was made from footage of me singing in the past, like singing in the band. I had some VHS videos of that, so I sort of
Great.
I uploaded them to like my computer and then tried to just improve the quality a bit and then splice them all together. I had some videos of myself when I was like 10, 11 years old at the village youth club, and I incorporated them at the start. So I started off with me being like 10 years old. Then when I was in my band at like 17, 18, and then some in my 20s when I was just singing at home. And then I think, I did a music video in 2004. I'd cut some of that and put that in it. And then I filmed a bit of me just like the other year. So it went through all my ages. And it worked well with the video to the song. It was the song called Long, Long Time.
Okay.
And a friend said to me, "Oh, the song lyrics is Long, Long Time." And she thought it was about missing somebody. And I said, no, it's a long, long time, sort of, since I was that, young and sort of naive, sort of, like I was in the video. I don't know, sometimes you can look back and you think, I wish I still felt the way I did when I was, a certain age or something, can't you? When you're young, you just have nothing bother you as much, does it? You don't have as many worries and stuff. But yeah, I think it's all about being positive. And yeah, I've enjoyed writing music, performing music on and off. But just the age I am now, I'm just enjoying it for fun. If it got back to where I was going to do it, professionally, or I had some success, that would be great. Do you know what I mean? Just to get some like, kudos, to get some, a pat on the back for all the hard work I've done, some respect.
But what about if you just think of success as getting out of bed in the morning? That's what I do.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, it's like it's mindset, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
What do you think of the music? What do you think of the music industry today? Yeah, what do you think of the current music industry and the way it works? What do you think about the songs that are in the charts?
A bit generic, really.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, I'm not trying to sound like whatever decade we're in, like, yeah, this and that. There are some nice tunes out there, but like I can't really remember any off the top of my head.
No, I can't.
Yeah, but I'm into Lana Del Rey and London Grammar and
Yeah,
Florence and the Machine
quite like
and
that.
um and uh, um and bands and artists like that these days, and there's some great new pop acts as well. What's her name? Something Young or something.
Youngblood.
Mess, huh?
Have you heard of Young? Is it Youngblood? He's quite
I,
popular, isn't he? Is it Youngblood? I think it's
yeah,
Youngblood.
he's been going for a while though. But anyway, I think the music industry has changed dramatically,
Oh, yeah, has it?
especially by streaming. And also it's getting a bit more challenging now because of this AI thing that's
Yeah.
coming along. But yeah, and like I said, it's all about the mindset. If you don't, if you find it overwhelming, just step away from your phone and technology and go out and go for beach walks and do your journaling and things like that
Yeah.
and that help you forget about the way that the world is.
But yeah, I think the charts are quite disappointing now. It's quite generic sort of, conveyor belt churned out songs that sound almost like they are AI if they aren't. Where,
Mm.
there are the odd artists that deserve to be in the charts, but a lot of the stuff is just like a friend read through. I said, read through the UK top 40 and see how many I know. And I think there was two names that I said I'd heard of in the whole top 40.
Mm.
They knew more because they've got two young kids and they're always listening to the top 40. So they knew more because they've always got top 40 on in the car, Radio 1 and that. Where I knew two names. And I think one of them was possibly Ed Sheeran. I don't know.
Yeah,
It's quite, 30 years ago, know.
I liked Ed Sheeran to begin with because I really admire buskers who have made it. Ed Sheeran. What's her name? Tones and I, and also Tash Sultana.
I think what my problem is, I probably need to listen to Radio 1 more to listen to what is in the charts and try and get a feel for it again. But I don't even know when the charts is on. I think is it something like a Thursday or a Friday evening instead of a Sunday? The UK top 40 countdown. I think it's sort of later in the week. It used to be every Sunday, but now it's Thursday or Friday. I think the Christmas is not too bad because that's quite, you sort of reminisce a bit when sort of Shaking Stevens is at number 10 and Slade's at number 6 and Fairy Tale of New York's at number 2 or 3. And so, I think the Christmas chart is quite nice. I do listen to that as long as certain people aren't going to be number 1. Yeah, the music industry has changed, hasn't it? Do you think it's easier to break your way into it now or a lot harder than years ago? You used to send your demo tapes and try and get an A&R meeting, didn't you? Or you'd go and audition.
Definitely a lot harder, but
it's easier to get your stuff out there because of YouTube and Spotify. But
exactly,
is that everything? You need the sort of publicity and success that only maybe a management, and proper promotion can bring.
Yeah, a music publisher, which I'm going to get when I'm when they're available this summer.
Mm-hmm. Now there are some good artists on TikTok. There's a guy from Doncaster near me. He's called Alfie. I think it's Sheared, and he's got a fantastic voice for a young lad. He's only about 20 now. He's been going at it since he was like 12. He started off doing a cover version of Hallelujah, and it got him a lot of views. If you find him on TikTok, I think Alfie Sheard. I think it's Sheared. I'll just check. But
I haven't
he's
heard of it.
a big voice. But I used to see him going live on TikTok, and he would have hundreds of viewers. And then because there's so many other lads his age doing it, I think he's getting a bit buried under the pile. And last time I saw him do a live, and it was, well half an hour into it, he only had like, a dozen, 20 people watching. And I thought, it's sad really. But he's done some good cover versions, and he does busking as well. But
Okay.
yeah, he's got a good voice, and he's from not just down the road from me, from Doncaster. So, where do you see yourself in 5 years' time with your music? Where do you see yourself? Where do you want to be? Where do you see yourself? Where do you envision yourself?
I don't really see myself in 5 years' time. I'm someone who lives in the now,
You love
So I strongly believe that what you do today will write your future. So I will put as much hard work as I can into Spectral,
Mm-hmm.
so that there'll be a good future for it. In 5 years' time, in a year, in 2 years' time, in 3 years' time, 4 years' time, 5 years' time. So, I mean, like for example, I've only just moved into my own place back in November. Yeah, like now that I've done that, I can focus a lot more on the album and the rest of the music.
That's good. So, stuff coming up for the listeners for 2025. So, you've got new songs and a new album coming up.
Yeah.
So, can you give the listeners some detail and places where they can find you? You're on Spotify.
Yes, they can find me on Spotify. So they can even find me on by googling Ethereal Music. Sorry, Ethereal UK Music.
Ethereal UK Music.
Yeah.
And yeah, you're on YouTube, Spotify, TikTok. Any others?
Just Spotify, YouTube, TikTok.
Did you ever have a MySpace?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
I thought they were good because for artists, you could upload your songs and people could listen to your songs on your wall, couldn't they? Yeah, they were good then. And then once Facebook became so big, it seemed to just die off, didn't it? But there was quite a few things to keep track of because there was like MySpace, Facebook. There was something else, wasn't it? Was it Bieber or something? I can't remember. It's going back now. An MSN Messenger. So yeah, lots of places to find your work. And is there links if they're interested in actually purchasing CD copies of your music?
If they want to get in touch with me, it's Ethereal Music Therapy at gmail.com.
Right. If you're interested in any CDs or finding out about gigs and things like that, yeah, it's okay to get in touch with you.
End of part 2. Thank you for joining me today, Ethereal UK. Lots of more podcasts coming soon. Please like and subscribe. Bye for now. Bye.